Would.
Yeah, it's like if I knew in advance, I do that. Because you're going to build it back.
Because they're probably going to ask you when you deliver your baby.
No, let me die.
Yeah, would they do that for people who are pregnant, you think? Did you go give some blood before? Can you give blood when you're pregnant?
Well, they take your blood. No, you can't. You can't.
You can't?
You can't. It's no.
Be too dangerous for the baby or something.
I don't think they want to take the risk, but no.
All right, so questions on the study guide.
Are we on 18 part 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you study the right one?
Yeah.
Good.
You actually have to.
We should have said no, we're on 20.
I wanted to make sure I knew what was going on.
Oh, remind me, I'm supposed to mix your groups up. We didn't last time.
No, never said. I feel like our groups are always mixed anyway. Just
Hey, 6, 9. We're only missing like 2 people. 3 people.
Today's a good day. I know. Yeah, we only have 2 weeks.
Oh, I bet you was birthday.
There's nobody else in your all's group, though.
No.
There's somebody else in your group.
Samantha.
And,
And Brianna.
oh, right, yeah. Brianne. All right, so questions? 5 seconds for question 5.
What?
Oh, it's asking for questions on the study guide. Oh. No? I was asking if you had any questions.
Alpha is secretes glucogen. Beta is insulin.
So for B, were you looking like for the thyroid follicles and then the parafollicles for the 2 sulfates?
So I have follicular cells and parafollicular.
Yes, follicular and parafollicular.
And follicular.
Oh, good, I found my
Don't,
study guide.
yeah, like don't judge my saying, but thyroxine and riodosarin.
You can just say thyroid hormone
The thyroid hormone.
or T3 and T4.
Okay.
And then the parafollicular, what do they make?
Calcitonin.
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 That's the 2. Which one were you asking about? Calorogenic effect? Yeah, so that just means that the more calories you burn, the more heat you make, basically.
I tried to Google it and it just kept telling me about growth factor.
So a prohormone is an inactive version of a hormone that'll later be turned on or chopped. It has like a part of it that's going to keep it inactive. You could chop that little part off to activate it. All right, let's take our quiz. right.
An extra one.
That's all right. I'll just toss it in there. Quizzes. Okay. All right. So, what produces thyroid hormone? Beta, follicular, parafollicular, alpha. It is follicular. What's a prohormone? Inactive version. Thyroidectomy. What cell type makes glucagon? The alpha. And what are two organs whose function is not endocrine, but have endocrine function? So some of the ones I see on here: heart and kidney, gonads. Somebody put GI tract. This person left it blank because it's a blank quiz. Hypothalamus,
I know, I was putting more and then I was like,
pancreas works. Stomach, there's a lot of right ones on here. There's plenty you could have put. There's a rush for IUDs. So like everybody went out and got a gun when Obama got elected. Now everybody's going to go get their IUDs and get their sex on.
they said like a lot of people are getting IUDs so like long term, they're not gonna like they're gonna have to pay for it.
For Obamacare. It's part of the law, right?
Yeah, you can have the health department in there.
Somebody posted Mike Pence's information, and all these celebrities and stuff have been making donations to Planned Parenthood under his name, so if the certificates are mailed to his office.
That's silly. All right, so new groups. Who's number one? Ross is number one, I guess.
1, 2, oh, 3.
We'll go up to 4, and then we'll have 4 groups.
4, right?
Mm-hmm. You're 1.
Year 1. 3.
I have never heard less confident counting in my life. I mean, my 2-year-old's more confident counting than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. I'm gonna get you rotated around. And then we'll put our missing people somewhere. All right. Cool.
I don't think it would have went anywhere, which is okay.
All right, so we got 18 part 2. When I was grading some of the exams, y'all need to think a little more about the why of what's going on, especially in these chapters. I think that's maybe what people are missing a bit of. I don't know, I only graded like the back 2 pages. They're not great so far. Let's see.
Yeah, right there.
We will see. But I can definitely say, compared to the other tests, you're probably going to be restudying that reproductive chapter for the final. No one did too well on those questions. Like the pill. How does the pill work? Does anyone actually know?
Those ones you asked for, the ones I didn't do.
It does not trick you into thinking you're pregnant.
No,
That's
but
what like
it's
half
not
of you
your
said.
body because you're ingesting it through the pill.
And therefore, when you get to the sugar pill, instead of like the morning after pill,
Right.
which makes you shed it, you get the sugar pill, so it stops for giving you the extra progesterone and estrogen. So then your body thinks.
But doesn't it decrease your LH level?
That would be one of the big keys that you could have said.
You're ingesting the estrogen and progesterone, so your body doesn't produce it itself. I think that's all I put.
Yeah, so yeah, I think, so some of y'all know it.
I know, I was like, keep talking, Michelle.
Keep talking, but definitely want to put that back on the final study guide because I think it's something everybody should know is, reproductive system.
With the morning after pill.
Yeah, I remember one made you
The
shed
pretty
and
much
the
the
other
same,
one didn't
except
make
the morning
you
after
shed.
makes you shed.
Right.
Immediately.
Anyways, all right.
I don't know why,
And I think these are, like, this chapter is pretty challenging to actually remember what order everything goes in or how negative feedback works. So, for example, that testosterone question, how does, you're trying to stop making too much testosterone. So testosterone tells the hypothalamus to stop making GnRH. That would be the whole answer. And especially for these, don't use any pronouns. It's like a lot of people wrote, they put random its in there. I'm like, I don't know what that it is. Is it testosterone? Is it the testes? Is it FSH? I don't know what it is.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
That could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
Maybe get 1 point here or there.
But I think you actually did, a lot of you knew more than you actually wrote on there. I think. All right, so anyways. What about the old thyroid gland? Did some of y'all see it in the cat? Did we look at it a little bit? I don't remember if we saw that. I think we looked at the thyroid. So anyways, it's up in the larynx, kind of up in the neck. And the two thyroid hormones are T4 and T3. You don't have to memorize their names or anything. They're named that way because they've got 4 or 3 iodine atoms. It's one of the few places that you use iodine in your body. So have you noticed, what do they add to salt?
iodine salt.
Yeah, and that's because before we had healthier diets where you actually get iodine from other foods, people would get hypothyroidism from not eating any iodine. So is that the 20s or the 1900s? Get some goiters. So way back 1900s, early 1900s, they started putting iodine in salt. And they never really stopped, even though it's probably not necessary anymore, in our country at least. But that's why it's there, in case you were wondering. All right, like everything in this chapter, there's a negative feedback loop involved. I know. All right, so there's 2 stimuli. One is low body temperature, and one is low thyroid hormone concentration. And that signals the hypothalamus to make TRH, which is thyroid trypsin releasing hormone. You remember, hypothalamus is kind of the boss. And then that TRH goes down to the anterior lobe, the pituitary, and tells it to make TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. Goes into the blood, goes to the thyroid, and it tells the thyroid to make thyroid hormone.
What was the second stimuli?
Um,
Low body temperature and what?
Low thyroid hormone concentration. So what does the thyroid hormone itself do, like T3 and T4? The main thing it does is tell all of your cells to increase metabolic rate. Does anybody know what that means? At a cellular level? Do what? Oh, did you? Did we talk about this yesterday?
When you're digestive, how it fast you digest calories and
Glucose and your
So you're going to break down your glucose. Krebs cycle speeds up, glucose is broken down faster. Need more increase your heart rate so you can get more blood, more oxygen to all those tissues. I guess one more that we talked about in patho. What do you think it would do to your intestines, your digestion? Yeah, so what does speeding up digestion mean, do you think? It is going to speed up digestion by having those smooth muscle in the GI tract contract faster and also more secretions of those enzymes that break down the food. Because you're using all this glucose, you need to get some more, which is one explanation. Someone who has a fast metabolism, do you think they have lots of thyroid hormone or not very much? They have lots, and what are those people? Maybe you're one of them. What do you hear them saying? Going to the bathroom more, maybe. What about how often they feel like they need to eat?
All the time.
Right? You're like always hungry because you're using up your glucose all the time, and your digestion's very quick. So your stomach gets emptied, it gets absorbed. You're going to feel hungry faster. And there's a pretty clear correlation, like as you get older, your metabolism slows down because you're making less thyroid hormone. You think about like a 16-year-old or something, right? That's one of the symptoms, yeah. All right, so let's try this one. And you've got 2-page worksheet. On the back is the thyroid hormone feedback loop, one of them, and I'll put the other one up here too. I think so. Oh, look. So try that on your own for a little bit, and then we'll do some group work.
I know, I've been here every time except for that one time I was just there. That's okay.
All right. So try to think about what's wrong with that feedback loop. What could be wrong with that? What could be going wrong? Oh, you're going to work by yourself for a little bit. See if you can't just come up with one thing for each of those questions at least. You got that diagram and you've got the one on the back of the worksheet to look at. All right, so let's take about a few minutes to talk that over with your group.
With the thyroid broken, it can't develop the ketogenic effect by causing heat after the calories and glucose are broken down.
So you're saying like that the thyroid is broken?
What's broken about it?
I mean, like you can't produce 53 and T4.
Sure, you
so
could
it's
say
not
that.
Stimulated by TSH.
That'd be two possibilities.
Stimulation of the thyroid is low BMR or low blood levels, so then you're not getting the calogorogenic effect, which is rising your body temperature. The thyroid hormone level releasing inadequate.
So why do you have low levels of thyroid hormone?
Your TSH is that being released,
Sure.
stimulated?
So, because I saw Alex just said low levels of thyroid, I was asking why.
TSH will be released.
Like the pituitary is not making TSH. hmm Okay, so then maybe this one, you could say the thyroid hormone, or the thyroid gland is not making thyroid hormone.
Well, that would just be our third one.
No, instead of one. Because one, like, I need to know why.
Why there's low levels.
Right.
So that would just basically tie into that, right? So those would basically just be together.
Right.
Yeah.
Because all of these are going to be low levels of thyroid hormone. But then there's 3 reasons why that could happen.
Burning all their glucose, and they produce energy in their body, therefore their body temperature rises.
How y'all doing so far?
I think good. I have to add to this one.
So the
On
first
this
one? Oh, yes, the second one? Sure.
The second one, basically, and I haven't written it yet, basically we were saying that if your metabolic rate is high, it's because you're burning tons more glucose, everything more ATP, so your energy is constantly
Yeah.
rising.
So what's going on here?
Your T3 and T4 are overproducing.
So what's producing them?
The hypothalamus, your THR.
Well, there'd be lots of possibilities, but yeah, one, you just each said one of them. You said the thyroid gland's making too much, and you told me,
The release of the THR, which is the
so the hypothalamus is releasing too much TRH. There's 2 answers for that one right there.
For one reason, I thought that their hypothalamus is over-secreting TRH, which is stimulating TSH, causing the thyroid to continuously create the thyroid hormones.
So you're always,
So
you're
the
always
concept
making this, the T3 and the T4, all the time for this one. Right?
You're creating too much thyroid hormones continuously, like going through cellular metabolism and maybe some heat from it.
So what does this first one say?
Your thyroid is broken.
Thyroid is broken of T3 and T4 in blood.
Yeah, concentration in blood.
I think you may be missing a few words there. What do you mean?
So you're not making,
So the thyroid hormone, the thyroid gland is not making those hormones
I haven't even worded them.
and not making. Oh, so what about the first one?
I don't, we had said, because they did backwards, but I just gave 3 different examples, which I think are wrong. I did it
Yeah.
a different way.
I think you need more,
That's what I'm
more
saying.
about,
That-
but
yeah.
they've got different stuff. You got something more specific?
It would be
Too little production of
Yep.
TH3 and T4.
Uh-huh.
hypothalamus and THR, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that I hear a lot of people say is you can't really say hormones are stimulated. It's more the gland isn't stimulated to produce them. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's not stimulated by, oh, it is stimulated by low blood levels and low BMR.
Right, but maybe the receptor in the hypothalamus is broken and it can't detect that anymore.
Okay.
Something like that. See how we're being like a little more specific with What's broken?
Technically, if you're not broken, it would be stimulated, or stimulated the gland would be, and then you would produce the hormone, right?
Right, right. So you would not have this problem. All right, what are y'all doing? You got the same stuff? Who should I look at? Who's got the prettiest handwriting? I think Marty went. I don't know. You're hiding over there.
I'm writing off.
The hypothalamus does not make like an adequate amount of TRH, so it doesn't contribute down the chain. Maybe there is enough TRH, and the pituitary gland is damaged, and it's producing TSH, or potentially the thyroid follicle isn't responding to TSH.
That all works. What was the second one?
Pituitary gland is damaged and continues to make TSH all the time. The hypothalamus is damaged and doesn't decrease the TRH levels in response to the increased T3 levels in the blood. Or maybe the thyroid follicle is damaged and continues to make thyroid hormone without TSH.
Those are awesome. All right. So did y'all get the last one?
Yeah. It's always making these.
That's one. What about another one?
Tell what you said. She has
Mine
another
kind
one.
of tie back together. I just said the receptors in the hypothalamus are constantly engaged. That's why
Sure.
they can't shut
Yeah.
off.
Mm-hmm. So it's
Yeah,
always
yeah, but
making
either one.
TRH. Yeah. That works. Mm-hmm.
So people who are not making enough and gaining weight, they have could have hypo.
Mm-hmm.
They're both. Like,
Yeah, and that
they
seems
both
to be
have been-
pretty
you know?
reasonably common as people get older.
It's-
I think after menopause too, it becomes more common. So it's kind of related.
Wait, like feeling hypo?
Yeah.
That is not down.
Yeah, because estrogen and progesterone tie into your metabolic rate too.
So probably like what my drink was about why they take like what do they take?
Well, I mean, sometimes they take just estrogen and progesterone, right? Or they take the thyroid pills.
Is that just to help with like metabolism or help that help?
Well, it helps with like energy and probably the hot flashes too, I would think maybe. Because you get like peaks of estrogen and progesterone, which I think, I don't know exactly how it ties into the thyroid.
Like balance it so it stays more like
Well, some of those supplements are probably, like the natural ones may not be doing anything, but
people think that they are.
yeah, because like those phytoestrogens that you see, they're not at a high enough concentration to do anything. Those pills.
Do you take just like a thyroid supplement?
Yeah, it's just T3 and T4 in a pill.
Or is that what they put in like diet?
Does that also help like?
I don't know. Uh-huh. Do you know, you should find out if she had too much, like hypo or hyper. Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of that, but it doesn't mean it's not true. That's cool. Not that I know of. It seems like you could, but it boosts your blood sugar, which could be, lead to diabetes too. Yeah. Diabetes if you took too much of it eventually. But that one that they banned, most of the ones they end up banning, like Fen-Phen, or they like activate your sympathetic nervous system and get your body's rate higher. Then if you take too much, you could get your heart to get crazy. And caffeine. Yeah. All right. So any thyroid questions? Right. So let's go on to the C cells and talk about calcium regulation. All right. So C cells make calcitonin. Stimulus is high calcium, and it's going to go to a couple different tissues and help lower the calcium. In some ways that it does that. Do you remember this word? Osteoclasts? What do? Carve it out. Clast, carve, so they break it down. Blast, build it up. All right, so if you have too high of calcium, what's a good place to store it, do you think? Your bones, right? And the way to do that is block osteoclasts. That's what calcitonin does. If you block the osteoclasts, your bones get denser, more of the calcium stays in there. No. I mean, for the most part, it's better for you. And the second thing, and this is probably a reason that you don't have bone problems, is any extra gets excreted by the kidneys. You just don't reabsorb it. Leave it in the urine. That wasn't on our dipstick thing, was it? I want to get some with calcium in it. So it kind of means, what do you think happens, to most of the calcium you take in vitamins? It's expensive PE. So there's people who say, like, Americans have the most expensive urine, like, in the world. So they're just taking these vitamins, and it's just, the body's like, hey, I got enough. All right. I eat cheese and yogurt and stuff, so we'll just put it in the urine. And
So then, like, have you heard of a disease that, like, the muscle take fibromyalgia, pacifica?
I thought fibromyalgia was like
Maybe not fibromyalgia.
general pain, like everywhere, inflammation.
It's like a pain that's mysterious to everyone that's feeling.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
And some doctors think it's just in your head, but do it.
Fibrodysplasia.
Fibrodysplasia. I do know that
I've seen it.
you've seen it.
Yeah, their
Okay.
muscle literally turns into bone, and they just eventually like turn.
Whoa.
It's really rare, but
Doesn't that happen in Game of Thrones or something?
Oh, where the people turn into bone? Yes.
they literally like their muscles form into bone,
Crazy.
and they eventually just like turn it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, but anyways, wouldn't that just be like a lot of?
I'm sure it's something to do with the cell types getting confused and turning into the wrong thing. I don't have to read about it. All right, so a way to remember this, because for whatever reason, everyone gets the two calcium hormones always mixed up. So you can memorize cats should have collars. I think somebody came up with that. So that stands for calcitonin secreted when there's high calcium. Right. Well, calcitonin, usually they take extra calcium. Because us, do it? In theory. I've never heard of anyone taking it. I don't know why. But one of the main things from osteoporosis, maybe talk about 2:1, is estrogen also inhibits osteoclasts. So after menopause, you have low estrogen, your osteoclasts get more active, start breaking down the bone more.
So is it more likely for women to have osteoporosis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the depo can cause it because of how close it gets to your bone.
Yeah, because it leads to sort of persistently low estrogen levels.
You would think because they would give you more calcitonin because it blocks the osteoclast, especially after menopause.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Osteoclast, so it makes sense like maybe that block.
I give a lot of people calcium, but nobody calcium.
mean, if it blocks the osteoclast and after menopause, if you produce more, you think it would be a good thing to be able to do the osteo or melatonin because it would block the osteoclast to make it flow. I think it would be
Yeah, but it also makes you put more calcium in the urine too. So, yeah, I don't know. Seems reasonable. I should look it up because I bet there's other osteoporosis drugs that'll change the actions of these more specifically than just calcitonin. Most older people do, I think, at least to some level.
Just like most older people have hypothyroidism.
Yeah, my grandma was 58.
Yeah. So a lot of it's genetic, and then a lot of it too is how much calcium you get when you're younger and how much exercise you do. Remember from 201, the more exercise you get on your bones, the stronger your body builds them. So that, and smoking lowers your calcium levels. I don't know why though. All right. So cats should have collars. Next up is parathyroid, because it's also in charge of dealing with calcium. It's 4 little dots, little clumps of cells on the thyroid gland behind it, so posterior. They look like little candies on there. That's the part of a body I eat first. It's the parathyroid, little tasty snacks. So if you remember, cats should have collars. Parathyroid is the opposite. So it's stimulated by low calcium, and it does some things to increase calcium in the blood. So it activates osteoclasts and inhibits osteoblasts. So you break down the bone, release some of that stored calcium, and reabsorb more in the kidneys. Tells the kidneys to make calcitrol. It's another hormone that tells your digestive tract to absorb more calcium. Calcitrol, it's also called vitamin D. So what do they add to milk? Because the more vitamin D you have, the more calcium is absorbed in the intestines. Yeah, I think it's in almost every vitamin,
It's
multivitamin.
Because I know for like working in a nursing home, we have to like really emphasize trying to drink.
most calcium is like I give calcium 600, 400, like 600 calcium, 400 units of vitamin D.
Just because
Yeah.
they never go outside.
Yeah,
They just
so
don't get the natural.
then why don't you take them outside?
Well, we do, but some just can't.
Well, it's hard in the winter too.
Well, yeah, but
I used to hate the activity
Um,
people when they take the dementia people outside because then they wouldn't want to come back inside and they get to leave at 5 and it's just like,
Yeah, so that's why they usually see them together. Like vitamin D's in milk. Most of those calcium pills are the store. It's like calcium and vitamin D together. Not all of them, but most of them.
I think they all have to take supplements. Or you like had the option like every day in school.
Makes sense. But the best way is exercise, resistance exercise. That's the best way to get your bones strong. Just throwing a bunch more calcium in your body doesn't quite do it as much. So get those weights out and see y'all lifting. Like Ross's brother. He's got strong bones. All right, and maybe I should mention first, why is it important to have steady calcium levels in the blood? What's the range? I got my blood test here. Does anyone remember what calcium did in some process for something somewhere? So it's very important for muscles. Because remember, that's the ion that's released that causes contraction. It's also really important, so that's, skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and it also affects your neurons too. Their membrane potentials, how they're firing or not firing. So the body keeps it at a very narrow range, and normal, look how tight this range is. So 8.6 to 10.3. So you got to keep it at just that amount, otherwise you might start to have muscle cramps, muscle problems. And if it gets way too low, your heart won't work, kind of a problem. Neurons start malfunctioning. So that's why we've got two hormones, one for too high, one for too low, because too high also causes kind of the same problems. Maybe too much contraction or arrhythmias. So system works pretty well because, do you start having heart problems if you don't eat any milk or yogurt for a week? You don't. And that's mainly because your bones store like an enormous amount of calcium. And your body would much rather just slowly break down your bones, even if they get weaker, but still be able to keep calcium normal. So your heart works, your muscles work, your neurons keep working. All right, so anyways, got a few on there. So we're trying to keep between 8.5 and 11, which I guess is different from what my little blood result thing says normal is. I don't know which one's right. It's kind of weird. So high calcium, the thyroid responds by making calcitonin. So inhibit osteoclast, put extra calcium in the urine. Then you also have the opposite, parathyroid. And that gets activated if there's low calcium. So then it makes parathyroid hormone, reabsorb more in the kidneys, release it from the bones. So activate osteoclasts, and then make calcitrol, so you absorb more calcium. All right, so which of these is true? I think I didn't turn this on. I feel like everything moved. There it is. All right. So I'd agree with even. High calcium is calcitonin, because remember cats should have collars, and low levels activate PTH. All right, so let's practice more with that. So this is question 3. And you can use the ones in the PowerPoint, but I also have this one. And it's got basically both the hormones on it. So you've got if it's too high, if it's too low, kind of all in one diagram. So we're looking for what's the problem if you have too much calcium or too low? What has gone wrong? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, sorry, 3 and 4. My bad. What was that disease called again? What was it called? I don't read about it. Fibrodysplasia. All right, so take a few minutes to finish up with your group there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Hmm. 700 people ever have gotten that.
Really? Like calcium?
So I was just saying, just the kidneys and like in particular, like,
Okay.
is it reabsorbing the calcium? So,
I just thought that was something the Game of Thrones made up.
No, seriously. I saw that there was like a young girl who's like 19 or something. She was like pretty much wheelchair bound.
Well, I
Just
guess-
like the older you get, the more.
I guess Grey's Anatomy technically has it where like her bone, she can't move because her bone functions.
Is it if like you touch her too hard over her bones like stiffen? That
Yeah, well like,
That's what I was just reading about.
I can't remember.
It's like any damage to muscles or like soft tissue, like the body replaces it with bone.
It's like in the beginning seasons. I want to say like 3 or 4.
Because I kind of like rewatched them like 4 times, and I know it. I'm just like, which one was that?
They're still interns.
Yeah, they're still interns. Cause that, I just remember that because the daughter.
So
Much of it is being produced.
The daughter's the one that flips that.
you said it's not being released. You got like two
Oh, yeah.
opposite things. You see what I mean?
No, wait, it is that.
Well, which one do you mean? It's making too much or it's not being released? The
first
number one?
The one that was in the thyroid gland is producing.
Number 1 for 4?
Yeah, 3, sorry.
Thyroid gland is producing too much.
It's, so, no, the calcium is not being released.
Oh, kind of wrong.
The thyroid gland is not being triggered.
So it's not producing.
No.
It's not
So I
producing.
had it backwards.
No, it wasn't like house. It was just like more of a documentary about people who.
I wouldn't call that a reason. Well, I already told you it's low.
Then could it be because your bones aren't releasing enough of the calcium?
Sure. That could be one. So which cells aren't responding to the hormone? Or which hormone? Do you know what I mean? Could be either one, depending on which hormone you're talking about. So like,
It's not, yeah, it's not.
wait, 4 is too low, right?
Yeah. So it says it releases more calcium, your bones release calcium to try to
So-
release it.
Right? What's the hormone that's telling it to do that?
PTH. So your PTH isn't secreting enough. Isn't being secreted enough.
Well, I think you already said
The
that.
bone's not producing enough calcium, like the PTH.
So you said it's secreting too much PTH? Wouldn't it lead to high calcium?
See, I'm kind of back.
You should take you should unstaple it and just look at this. You could restaple it.
Enough. So then you'd also, your kidneys would excrete too much calcium too, right?
No,
If
it's
you
low.
secrete less, then your calcium's gonna be higher. So you're
Yeah.
secreting too much.
So we're trying to find out like why is it too low? And yeah, that could be one answer. Kidneys are leaving it in the urine for some reason.
So it would increase the reabsorption, or it would still decrease it.
Yeah, that's right.
Decrease the reabsorption.
Uh-huh.
Secrete too much, but reabsorb not enough. Okay.
So like the osteoclasts aren't responding to the PTH. You got some good stuff?
Yeah.
They're still working.
Yeah, they rain.
All right, so too high.
They have something different than what I have.
Well, what? You're supposed to be working together?
I know, because
That's okay. Maybe you're both right.
There's their part about the osteo class. I just haven't added it to mine. That's
Yeah.
right. Say what you.
Oh, so look at Annabelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first part, I don't think you have. Yeah, the thyroid gland is not producing enough calcitonin,
So it's too high, so no calcitonin.
right?
That makes sense.
And then you said the other stuff. That's right.
No calcitonin, no activating osteoclast. Right.
It activates osteoclast or osteoblast.
I think you mean osteoblasts for that one.
Blast. Osteoclast.
Because if your osteoclasts aren't being activated,
They break down
your calcium would go down. And then the kidney, the kidney's not excreting it. So that's right. Because you said not reducing uptake. So that's right.
Well, then would we make sure we put calcium not being deposited in the bones? Because
Yeah,
don't
you
have-
could say it that way, or you could say, like Annabelle said, you're not activating osteoblasts.
Okay.
That's another way to say what you said, which is right too.
So the kidneys are not secreting
Calcium.
calcium for 3 ways.
Yes.
Right.
And then for number 4,
Too much calcitonin. Not enough PTH. So those are both right. Right.
osteoclasts are not responding for PTH,
Osteoclasts are not responding PTH.
right?
That's right too. So yeah, y'all got
I said
them.
the parathyroid gland may not be even secreting the PTH, or not reabsorbing the calcium and leaving it in the urine.
Right. Pretty good.
I just needed to add.
After like maybe 3. Yep. Nope. Done.
Might need to get some sister wives if he wants 5 kids.
Oh, for 4? Thyroid. It doesn't recognize the
What did we do last week? Tuesday? Yeah, we did part 1.
The worksheet was actually really easy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, let me print one of those. Maybe I'll print one for Ross too. It's okay, I can just print it back there.
Yeah, like this part, you're supposed to draw.
Two.
Yeah.
You want anyone to you?
Yeah.
No, Ross, you don't get one. You're not cool.
Ross is a minority in here. I have to give him special treatment.
Okay, I want to keep my mouth shut.
That's why I became a nurse, because it was the only way as a white male I could still be a minority in this world.
There you go.
At least you were here on Tuesday, you missed it. So you made me laugh for like 15 minutes straight off of a stupid picture.
Dude, the funniest thing is you and I at the same time. This is why when I was saying
They were being very juvenile.
your eyes opened the same time I did, and that's why I laughed. Just because our brains immediately went, wow.
All right. Any calcium questions? You good? So basically, either I'm asking you like simpler questions about how the system works, or give you the diagram and ask you harder questions like these
That's a trick.
on the test.
Diagram.
What?
I said that's a trick. We don't get diagrams.
If it's a hard question, you do. You've gotten diagrams before. You've totally gotten them.
Easy question.
One time.
So we can have.
More diagrams than the last.
This is a pretty quick section.
Yeah, it's like 5 lectures. I think it's the week before your final,
Yeah,
which I think is the week after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, we literally take this test.
We're gonna take a test, and then we're gonna have a review day for the final.
So we only have like one more lab day then.
Yes.
Practical our last
We have our lab, yeah, one lab day.
One lab day and a practical. Yeah, because you don't have lab next week.
No.
No class on Wednesday.
Sorry. I
You can come if you want.
would have been one of those people that did it if I would have known.
Let's see. All right, so I think we'll do pancreas next time, and we'll do pineal, because I don't think we have time to finish the pancreas, so we'll just do it next time. But we could talk about the pineal gland.
Third eye.
What?
Third eye.
Your third eye? Why do you call it that?
on Grey's Anatomy.
Kidneys put their connection to the universe.
Your pineal gland's your connection to the universe? Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that was the gland that was involved. That's my wife. She took Eastern religion in college. Maybe she remembers that. All right. So pineal gland. It's up in your brain. technically in the third ventricle. And the cells that make the hormone are the pineal sites. And they make the hormone melatonin. Does anyone take melatonin? Sell it at Walgreens, health food stores. And basically it makes you sleepy at night. It's like the natural one. We talked about this yesterday. You're thinking of tryptophan, and that's not true anyways. You're tired after Thanksgiving dinner because you ate 2 pounds of food and drank like 4 glasses of wine. That's why you're tired. So funny. And then like all the grandparents after lunch, they're just like falling asleep at the table, you know? All right, so something kind of interesting. What do you think the signal is to tell the pineal gland to make melatonin? This, what tells it to make melatonin? No. So it's darkness?
Oh, yeah.
So light would inhibit it?
Because I was going to say, like, your phone and stuff keeps you awake.
Yeah, so
Honestly, my
that's
mom
actually this one.
way too much.
Because if you notice, y'all been camping or something, right? At some point? Do you notice you get like exhausted? Like you're just like 9 o'clock, you're like, I can go to bed. Like it's dark, I'm like exhausted.
That clock's at like 5 o'clock now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think that's
My
why.
kids are ready for bed at 6 now, I'm like, damn.
So yeah, and it's actually inhibited by blue light, like I heard some people saying. Blue light, there's receptors in the back of your retina, and they just figured this out like 10 years ago or something, like how it all works. So there's special receptors that blue light activates them, and it goes to the pineal gland, and it says, it's light out, don't do anything, don't make melatonin. No, don't look at blue light.
So is that why looking at your phone, they have like the night?
Mm-hmm.
Because Elliot has those like yellow glasses things that he wears like when he's watching TV.
Oh yeah?
Helps him like go to sleep faster.
Because watching TV would do the same thing, right?
Yeah, but even worse, I think, is the like iPads, phones, because they're so like right by your eyeball that it gets that blue light like right in there very quickly, like less than a TV way over there would. So they actually did a study on that, like in one of those fancy sleep labs where you have to go in and they hook you up to machines and take your blood all night and monitor your sleep patterns and everything. And they took half the people and they just like read a book or something. And the other half like were on an iPad for an hour and a half before bed. And then they monitored them, they took their melatonin levels, they tested their sleep patterns. And the group that was using the iPad, they had 22% less melatonin, and they had like worse sleep patterns, however that works. So it's one of those reasons, like you're mentioning, I think every device now you can download like some kind of app that takes the blue light out. So it looks a little red. It's like a red filter. So the one on Android is called Twilight. I don't know what they call the ones on like Apple's.
Night shift or something.
Yeah, is that the?
That's like night something.
And that's because, oh, here's this fancy one. Intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. Those are the ones that respond to that blue light. So obviously best is probably not playing on your phone, but I kind of like to. So I have that Twilight app on there. And I do feel like it helps, actually. I try it. And certainly for kids too, like especially grandparents, they always tell us like, maybe your daughter needs to watch some TV before bed. Like, do you really think that's going to help her melatonin or help her go to sleep? Like, probably not. You're getting like telling her body not to make melatonin, not get sleepy. But that's okay. Grandparents don't listen to us. Or science. It's fine. They know. It's crazy. All right, so I'll see you on Tuesday. Don't forget, we do have class on Tuesday. No vacation yet. I wish we didn't, but. It's gonna be crazy. Oh,
Time for me to take that exam.
which one? The practical?
Well, the,
Exam?
yeah, I missed the last.
Let me give you the worksheets first
Okay.
before I forget. Before Maddie disappears.